This is an FNX 45, which is a large, hammer-fired 45 caliber handgun. Let's talk about it today. First, let's get into some of the rapid-fire stats on the FNX 45. This handgun is a single or double-action hammer-fired. It is a polymer constructed for the frame. It is in 45 ACP. It has a 4.5-inch barrel and a 15-round magazine capacity as standard. The gun weighs about 33 ounces unloaded. The trigger, it can be as light as 4 pounds when it's in single action or as heavy as 12 pounds when it's in double action. So that's quite a range. In terms of safeties, it does have a safety lever right here. In terms of sights, it has fixed 3-dot sights. In terms of ambidextrous features, the safety is ambidextrous, the magazine release is ambidextrous, and the slide lock is also ambidextrous. And lastly, in terms of price, this gun carries an MSRP of about $919. You can sometimes find them for less than that, but these guns tend to hold their value. Taking the FNX inside out, disassembly of this gun is actually very easy. So you lock the slide back, there's one lever that you rotate, and then the entire slide comes off. From there, if you need to clean it, remove the recoil spring, remove the barrel, any of that, very easy to do. And then you just slide it back on, lock the gun back, rotate the lever, and you are good to go. Super easy to handle. So now that you know a little bit of information about the FNX, let's get to the good part. Let's get it out to the range and actually shoot the gun. So, FNX 45 out here at a different range, as you can tell, enjoying the beauties of Tennessee. 45 ACP, hammer fired, double action and single action trigger, 15 rounds in the magazine. So you really feel like you can go all day. I'm just going to be engaging some steel at 10, 12 yards and talking to you about what it's like to shoot this big old thumper of a gun. So, I love this gun. I don't have huge hands. I've got very normal sized hands for an adult male. I like the way it feels in my hands. It's definitely bigger and thicker compared to a lot of other guns, which for many people would make this hard to conceal. Thankfully, in my Carrier Shorts Mark II and my ADC Conceal Tee, that just tucks away like that. This is a harder gun to draw and shoot just because it's bigger. It also has this safety up here that I'm going to call this a small design flaw of the FNX 45. You're drawing the gun, you're presenting it, you go to take it off safety, you've pressed it a little bit too far and you've decocked the gun, which is okay because it is double single action. But I missed that shot because it gives you like a 10-pound trigger pull. So, not excellent. But you're really just able to rock and roll this thing. I've got 2 more rounds, let me just dump them real quick. Like I said, 15 rounds of 45, you really do feel like you can just shoot all day. I mean, that's a lot of bullet. Now, as we've learned from other tests that we've done, not the best at penetrating, but we're not particularly close to these targets. Those are small man-shaped silhouettes. I feel like I should have run dry by now, and yet I haven't. So, very reliable gun, very fun gun to shoot. I really love this gun. I like the way it looks. I like the very light trigger when it's in single action with the hammer depressed. I like everything about this gun. It's fun to shoot. So, let's put it through its paces and see how it does in the speed and accuracy test. Alright, so we did shooting impressions, now we're going to do our speed and accuracy test. We're in a different venue, so I'm going to change it slightly, but here's what's going to go down. I'm going to do 1 shot drawn from the holster. I'm going to do a quick reload from my spare magazine, 3 more shots. I'm going to run back a few more yards to about 12 yards, and then because I don't have a bullseye, I'm going to shoot until I get a headshot on those about 4-inch by 4-inch head from farther than before. So let's give it a shot. Let's see how we do.
Shooter, are you ready?
Ready.
Stand by.
All right, let's see how we did on that timing. All right, so that is a complete time of 12:91, a 2:23 first shot. Let's go in and take a look at what happened on the target. All right, so we would be expecting 5 total rounds on this target. In fact, we have 5 total rounds on this target. I managed to stack 2 of them right there, kind of winged him a little bit, hit him in the clavicle, and then that was my shot to finish us off on the head. 12:91, not an excellent time, not horrible either. Let's run that again. Let's see if we can do it a little bit quicker for the FNX 45.
Shooter, are you ready?
Ready.
Stand by.
And we're clear. All right, let's see what happened. 12:30, first shot, 2 seconds. 1 miss before I landed that headshot. Let's take it in a little bit closer. My first shot was one of these, I'm not exactly sure which. Then I had one that kind of flew up a little bit, but still very much on the man-sized target. Very happy with that headshot. My other one, I hooked it off just a little bit, shooting from about 12 yards. This is about a 4-inch by 4-inch target. So 12:30 on looser ground, so there's always going to be an asterisk next to this time. This gun also just takes a little bit longer to draw. You also have to manipulate the safety as you're presenting, and you can't go too far or else you'll decock the gun. So a few more steps to get this gun in the fight, but once it's in the fight, it is a force to be reckoned with. So back from the range, let's talk about highlights and lowlights with the FNX 45. Highlights are you get 15 rounds of 45 ACP in a gun that once it's rocking and rolling has a super light trigger pull, a nice long sight radius. This gun is a force once you have it in the fight. Lowlights, well, it's a little bit difficult to draw and to shoot by nature of it being a little bit larger. And specifically, I am going to ding it pretty heavily for the somewhat silly design of the safety and decocker. If you're running too fast, you then decock your gun and then you have that ridiculous 12-pound trigger pull. So you have to be very careful when you are drawing the gun to click it only 1 click and not 2. It's not a completely fatal flaw. I can overlook it because of how good the rest of the gun is, but I really do wish that design were a little bit different. So let's give the FNX 45 a rating, starting in the utility category with caliber effectiveness. And I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. You are dealing with 45 ACP, which there are way more potent types of 45 ACP available on the market now. You get 15 rounds of rock and roll. That really is fantastic. In terms of carryability, I'm going to give this gun a 3 out of 10. It is possible to do, but between its large size, which makes it difficult to draw, and the safety manipulation piece that I mentioned earlier, it's probably not the right carry gun for most people. In terms of customizability, there's a little bit of aftermarket support, but not a ton. This particular one is not pre-cut for an optic. You'd need the FNX 45 Tactical for that one. It also doesn't have a threaded barrel. It does have a Picatinny rail, so I'll give it, about a 4 out of 10, I think is fair on customizability for this gun. In the novelty category, starting with fun factor, this gun is a lot of fun to shoot. It feels good in the hand, you can rock and roll forever. Sending that big thumping 45 ACP cartridge downrange is just a ton of fun. Anybody can pick up this gun and feel proficient with it pretty quick unless you have really, really tiny hands. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 as a fun gun to shoot at the range. Cultural significance, yeah, I'm split on this one. The FNX 45 is definitely well known within gun enthusiast circles. It hasn't really been featured in any particularly noteworthy media. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10, dead average. It's super cool, but that significant? I'm not sure. Lastly, value for money. I got this gun years ago for $650. I think for $650, this gun is a phenomenal value for money. If you're paying MSRP at $919, that's a little bit harder of a sell, although when you consider that the FNX 45 Tactical is over $1,000, basically just to add sights and optics cut and a threaded barrel, well, you can do the math for yourself. But I'm struggling to give this more than a 5 out of 10 value for money just because it is very expensive and it's a fairly niche gun, not something you're necessarily going to carry. Great gun, but it has its niche. 5 out of 10 value for money. So that's the FNX 45. I love this gun. I'm very happy to have it in my collection. It's not perfect, but it is quite good. And I enjoyed carrying it and running it in my Carrier Shorts Mark II. This and even bigger things were able to carry without any issue. So if you were looking for athletic apparel for concealed carry, safe and comfortable concealed carry, to support your active lifestyle, come check us out at arrowheadtacticalapparel.com. Like always, thank you for tuning in. Stay comfortably prepared, and we'll see you next time.